Welcome back. Now, more than 3 years since government introduced a new curriculum for pre-tertiary schools, textbooks are now set to be available in all the schools, with some getting their first copies. Within this period, schools had to improvise and teach, students without textbooks. Some local printers contracted by government to print these textbooks say they are well within the time to meet their schedule. We'll hear from the group shortly, but first of all, Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee in Parliament, Dr. Clement Apaak, says although this development is coming late, they are satisfied with the work that has been done so far. He spoke to Joy News when the members of the Education Committee toured the Appointed Time Printing Limited, one of the printing houses working on the textbooks.
They're saying that better late than never. I would have wished that these processes would have been completed maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But be as it may, that didn't happen. But from what we've seen so far, I think that it is impressive. And I am particularly happy because we are using local printing houses. Clearly, there are a lot more opportunities beyond just getting the books to the classrooms. The fact that a lot more Ghanaians are going to get employment opportunities, make a few more Ghanaian cities in these times that we are, is commendable. So yes, I am happy that we are seeing the books being produced. The information we have received is that some of them have already been moved to the various destinations, and we expect that they will be in the classrooms as soon as possible. So all in all, better late than never. Well, as an academic myself, I think that the quality is good. I have had the time to peruse or at least flip some of the pages. I've tried with my finger the density of the paper and the quality of the paper. I think that it meets the standards, and so I think that the quality is good. And we are expecting that, as the printing houses have said, they will be able to deliver ahead of the scheduled time.
Well, Chairperson of the committee, Kwabena Amankwa Esiama, urged government to meet its obligations to get the printers, ensure they are able to deliver on time.
We are satisfied with what we have seen so far. This is not the first place that we've been. We went to G Park and we've come to Appointed Time. The printing houses are doing well. It takes some time. Government will have to find money and government will have to print. Finding money is not an easy job, especially in a period like this. We talk about the COVID intervention and what Ukraine is doing as it stands now. Economy is not in the best of shapes, so you can pardon government for that. And this is not the first time that publishing has delayed. Every year or every changeover, it delays. Look out for the material. If the material is of the same quality, again we look out to see if what they have published already and what is left to be published will let them meet the deadline, which I think they have. They have already published 600,000 books, and they are left with 200,000. Considering the fact that they started from 1st June, and they are to deliver on the 27th June, we are confident that they will finish by then. They are even saying that they will finish before time.
Kwaku Asante was on that tour with the committee, joins me now in studios for some updates. Kwaku, so what kind of work did you see there? And are you hopeful that the schedules will be met by the printers?
So, Brace, Blessed.
It's fine,
I
guess.
The Appointed Printing Limited,
right,
where we went, the committee, the Education Committee, had been to some other printing houses which are also printing a number of books. We know the number of books involved, very huge amounts to supply to all such schools across the country. Appointed Time, they are printing about 800,000 of such science books. So when we went there, they have stopped almost all work that they were doing so that they can ensure that their printing machines print as enough books as they can. And so just like they've been assuring, about 600,000 books have been dispatched so far. And you look at the kind of work they are doing, working day and night.
Do we have an idea of the quantum involved?
So it's millions. The number itself, I cannot tell now, but it's hundreds of millions of textbooks in all courses that are going around the whole country because government changed the curriculum. And for 3 years now, The students have been without textbooks. They've been improvising. The teachers have had to use lesson notes to try and explain to students what exactly, or the pupils, what exactly they have to get to know. So it was quite a tough situation. And people like Africa Education Watch have all been raising concerns about government's inability to print these books. But now the printers are working overtime. They are trying to ensure that these textbooks will end in the classrooms by the end of August.
So let's talk about your interaction with those who are involved in the exercise itself, because one would say these are the political leaders giving the assurances, but for those involved in the printing itself, what assurances are we getting from them?
So according to General Manager of Appointed Time Printing Limited, they are trying to, like I told you, stop all the other contracts that they had, the obligations, and try and focus on these textbooks for these schools. And so already they've dispatched about 600,000 books to some schools in the country. They are looking at, by the end of August, or by the 21st August, which is the deadline they've had, the agreement they've had with the Education Ministry, they'll be able to dispatch the other 200,000 of these science textbooks. So we can now hear from the General Manager of Appointed Time Printing Limited.
I expected completion time. We are looking at 21st August to complete the books and deliver as well. So that's what we are looking at. 21st August is our deadline. So that's what we are hoping to do. Yeah.
When you spoke to the committee early on, you said that some of the books had already been dispatched.
Yes, about 600,000 have gone to the schools across the country. They've been dispatched to the schools, and there are even pictures to verify on social media where the students are using the book. So 600,000 has gone ahead to the various schools across the country. We are printing 800,000 books in all, so we are left with 200,000 books to complete the contract. Yeah. Quality, we've paid attention to it. Mindful of the fact that the books are going to be used by children. And so we know how children handle books. So we've taken that into consideration and make sure that the book is rugged, it can be used for a very long time. So quality is assured with the books.
Well, so that's the assurance we're getting now. But Kweku, do we have a sense of why the committee is doing this, particularly for those who may not be aware of the situation happening in our schools?
So, Blessed, before Parliament went on recess, the minority had calls to organize several press conferences to pile the pressure on government to make sure that these books end up in the classrooms. And so when Parliament went on recess last week, the committee, both minority and majority MPs on the committee said that, well, government has assured us that the printers are printing the book, but we can't sit in our offices and verify those claims, so we need to go down to the committee. So the chairman, the vice chairman, ranking and his deputies, as well as very leading members of the committee, are on this tour to a lot of these printers. Apart from Appointed Time Printing, they have been to some other printers. They'll be at other printers tomorrow also to try and see exactly what the situation is, and then ensure that by tomorrow or by the end of August, they can ensure that all this is done.
Kweku Asante is our parliamentary correspondent.